we get started, I like to say that I never met Kevin Samuels, and I never had a relationship with him. I was just somebody who did view his content. So I'm not trying to give fake love. I'm just expressing my opinion on his impact they did have on me, but also the aftermath of what has occurred since his passing. Kevin Samuels has gotten a lot of hate since he's been deceased. A lot of black women have celebrated his passing, have been excited, feel relieved because they feel the oppressor is gone. I don't know how one black man can oppress you as much as oppressors we had hundreds of years ago. But this one has really oppressed you. Find that quite odd. Also, certain individuals he gave shout-outs during his show will come back and accuse him of stealing their content when this same individual will actually steal other people's content or their topics or their ideas or just what they were talking about in general. That's quite funny. But I digress. Kevin Samuels told you what you needed to hear, not what the hell you wanted to hear. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't make you feel good when he said it. He told you straight up and blunt. He also didn't just outright start talking to you in that way. You had to say stupid stuff. You had to be rude yourself, and he just gave you that energy back.
Black women shouldn't have to feel obligated to smile to black men. We're holding a lot of trauma. We're holding a lot of problems. Mental health issues.
Hold on. How old are you?
24.
I'm gonna say this one more time. You to pay attention. I need all black women to pay attention. The world does not owe you understanding. If you have all this trauma, go seek professional help, because the rest of us do not have to suffer you. How do black women tend to deal with their mental health issues? With a licensed clinician or with Jesus?
That is what's pushed to us since
the
age of you're little.
No, ma'am.
That's
I asked who? I'm not going to play the lily pad game. Did it go to a clinician or did they go to the church?
The church most often.
All right. Most of these women are educated and they've heard about therapy. They make the choice not to go.
I'm not saying we should have a special victim status, but our circumstance is different. We are women.
You're 24 years old. Is your circumstance harder or easier than your grandmother and your great-grandmother?
Exponentially easier. We have access to information we didn't have.
Exponentially easier, but you're handling it worse. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother actually could work with a black man with more trauma.
They understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we are all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you. Clip it, slice it, put it on World Star. She said it, not me. Now that you're independent, you don't need to be with... There you go. There you go. And there you go, black man. There it is. She's finally got one to say it.
Build businesses with us.
Your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers had more trauma and more stress and did it better. This 24-year-old woman just said it. They don't feel any guilt about it. Thank you. So don't ask black men to care about your traumas. You can't even smile at us. That's why they don't like me. Because I won't allow you to dance around. I'm going to stay on the topic and get you to tell the truth.
He didn't just off rip give you that energy like people keep saying or putting those narratives out that he did just to fit theirs. A lot of times we do need to get in our feelings. Sometimes, but the thing is the truth. The truth will get in your feelings, but that doesn't change the fact. It's the damn truth. But let's get over to hearing the feel good stuff. Mr. Jamal Bryant, aka the Pookie Pastor.
You are listening to men who have no authority. How can a man say that you are of low value after 35? How can a man say that you do not have the level of traction of a high-powered man when that man has got to get a GoFundMe for his funeral? Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. You got to be in that place where you operate in the authority of God. Look at another sister around and tell them, it's not that I hate men. Come on, look at another sister and say, I do not hate men. I just despise weak men. I despise cowardice men. I just ain't got time for men who are insecure about my gift. I'm not going to dummy down because of what God got me. I don't have to lower my standard. That man got to step all the way up to deal with a queen on my level.
Tell him to bring me my money.
Of low value after 35. How can a man say that you do not have the level of traction of a high-powered man when that man has got to get a GoFundMe for his funeral?
Most men will tell you that the church has become a cult of personality, all about the ego of one person. And if you will sit down and talk to many pastors, I have gone at it with some pastors who I'm like, you ain't nobody but a man. You just a man just like me. You went to seminary. Some of y'all went to seminary, but so what? The micromanagement of the typical pastor today runs the competent men out. Most pastors cannot stand to have strong, competent men in places of power and leadership around the modern church because it challenges their authority. You're trying to get increasing money from a decreasing membership. You're trying to get increasing money from women. That's why you got pastors that are threatened by the rise of platforms like this because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not ending your bottom line. And I'm telling you, how you can end up increasing your bottom line is by bringing men back into the church. Because you can't keep telling men to keep throwing money into the building fund and we don't see no building. That's just not how it's going to work. But here's the other side. If you don't do this, eventually you're going to lose the women anyway because they're in church to find a husband. That's why they're in church. The women in church to find a husband. I don't know who told you. These women are in church to find a husband. And they're looking around and Boaz ain't there for Ruth. That's one of the first places you used to tell people to go to church to find a husband. You can't find a husband for the men that ain't there. All you see in the church right now is women and children. And baby boomers and late generation ex-married couples. You don't see young married. When's the last time your church on Saturday was booked because of a wedding? You want to get a shot at men? Let men understand you're doing something different with women and you're facilitating an area to where reclaimed men and reclaimed women have an opportunity to mix and mingle. Put real money into that. And make sure that the women are worthy of what you say that men should be.
Pastor Bryant, Kevin Simmons wasn't saying women were low value as a person, the way you're making it seem to be. Anything with age and use does lose its value. That's with anything, especially us as humans. Mr. Bryant, you're telling these women what they want to hear. You're also spewing that BS that what Kevin will talk about, looking for that perfect man to meet their standards. Well, then they'll end up older and realizing they lost time that they can't get back. Hoping and wishing for that perfect man that you're preaching about will come when they do not. After they paid you the tithes that you requested, made you rich and happy, buying your other suits, they're going to be alone and saddened and being used by a good old pastor like you, saying you feel good bullshit. Mr. Pookie Pastor, you cheated on your wife with side chicks, as well as had a kid or kids with these side chicks. You yourself will be viewed as a high value man, correct? Would you say you exercise your options that you so speak against? But you know it's the damn truth. Spill this feel-good stuff behind closed doors. You do what Kevin was actually speaking about actually happens. You go find women who are younger and you deal with them. Are you really going out your way dealing with 35-year-old plus women? No. So miss everybody with the bull. And especially attacking or talking about a man a few days after he had passed away is disrespectful to the family and the mother. And you apologizing later on because you got heat. No. The apology don't really mean nothing. Because you didn't really do it out your heart. You did it because you had to. As brutal as it is, a lot of times men usually will look at women for their looks. And women will look at men on how successful they are. Financially. That's just the way it is. Stop trying to lie to these people to pad your pockets, Bryant. So, it just proves his point even more, what Kevin Samuels was talking about. This dude is spewing all this stuff to making these women in the church that's hollering and screaming feel good, but in reality, when 20 years from now, they'll have to look back at what the preacher was saying after the preacher has taken a large amount of their money from what Kevin Samuels was talking about, which is stuff they did not want to hear, but they found out it was the truth. You're gonna be fucked. I'm sorry, you're gonna be fucked. There's not gonna be no getting out of that because the time has passed. It's too late. And that's something that Miss Vivica Fox, sadly, she can't come to grips with.
Last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, he was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick.
Who gives a shit what you give, Vivica Fox? You can't keep a man. One of your biggest regrets is you never had a kid. You never turned out a plus sign. See, I got a problem with women like you, thinking that you talk as though you're someone to be appeased. Shut up, Vivica Fox. I'm about tired of seeing your twisted up mouth everywhere. Every time you come on camera, your face is twisted up. We get it. You're a smart, sassy, strong black woman. Do you have another gear? Do you have another character? You've been playing the same character for the last 30 years. We get it. 50 Cent, and Curtis Jackson responded and said, man, my ex-lover still want me. 17 years ago, we was together for 4 months, and she's still mad. My Badoom Doom must be better than I thought. Kudos to you, 50 Cent, for smiling through it. I mean, have you guys looked at the way Vivica looks these days? Every time you see her, it look like she done sucked on a bag of lemons. Now, I remember back in the 90s when Vivica was hot. Fine. But Vivica, but so many women like Vivica A. Fox fall into a broadcast where I said, women have already met their guy, and they blew it. I mean, think about when you see Fox Soul, Vivica Fox, Claudia Johnson, and y'all feeling me, and Lisa Ray. Don't y'all see a bunch of old women and be like, y'all are 40 and 50 years old. Y'all should have been somebody's grandma by now. Almost somebody's grandma.
Vivica Fox is just mad because 50 Cent ain't coming back, and Jamie Foxx is not coming back with those condoms. The booty call days are over. So, to be real, and she sound like a spiteful woman, an old spiteful ass woman to even say that. Just because you have differences of opinion with the man. But if you open your damn mind and stop being so closed-minded and actually open your mind, you'll see the bigger picture and goal of what he was trying to do. Not what the hell, how he said it, but what he was saying. Fuck if it didn't feel good. But we're not worried about no feel good stuff, because feel good stuff don't work. Fuck the feel good stuff, that don't get you the outcome you want. Period. Helping to build the black community, that was his goal. And communities in general. Because he understood a mom and father doing their best to raise their kids is one of the greatest things you can do, period. And having them both understand their perspectives. Understand the males and the females. Having the female understand the male's perspective. So they can both get along. So they both can finally get out of their ways and understand each other and move forward. That's the goal. That was the goal. But you have old hags like Vivica A. Fox and the other ones who are stuck in their ways and they don't want to accept reality. Even though it's already here, Miss Vivica, and the 4 other people on Fox, so it's already here. The reality for you is already here. What you were saying, the no man's, that's reality for you. You just don't want to accept it. That's cool. In time, you're gonna have to just realize it, because your glory days are over. And for Kevin's passing to be karma, saying God works in a mysterious way, you know, God said it was time for him to get the hell up out of here. I hope the flames are hot. All these different comments that Kevin Samuels' mom had to see on social media to find out her son passed away. That's how she found out her son passed away. It was from those comments. The same people who say they're Christians, believe in God, go to church every Sunday, same ones are saying this foul shit because they have difference of opinion, but too blind and arrogant to realize the ultimate goal. That's sad, and that's cold-blooded, and this is something we will not forget. Any of us, we remember how ruthless these people are, even when you try to help. Still try to bring your ass down. We did it again, black folks. You find a way to try to tear down people, especially of our skin color, that try to do something. People are taking notes. They've been taking notes. One last thing. Kevin Samuels did care about black people.
I need to really say this. I take no particular pride or pleasure in doing shows like this because I know it triggers certain black women. I know they do. I know some of them get pissed. I've heard women on YouTube saying things that they don't watch the show end to end. And I'm not going to, and that's not going to change anything, because there are far more women and far women who are listening. And who are the recipients? The women who listen end to end and are saying, well, you've changed my life. You've helped me look at this way or that way. Those women are benefiting. And guarantee when those women come into contact with men doing something, they all benefit. We're better off working with each other, trying to understand one another. You know, none of us are perfect. Certainly not me. I ain't shit. I got a lot of problems. It's like anybody else. We all got issues. But just like Ice Cube, when the brother steps up to do something, support. Find ways to support. Even if you have an issue with something it's doing, can you find 4 or 5 things about it that you like before you start off with the one thing you don't like? Because you cannot keep painting black men in this ain't shit box. They don't all fit there. And brothers are starting to push back and say, no, 51% of us are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. They're here. Can you interact with them just in a peaceful, civil way? If you never get married and never have kids, can you have a higher quality of life? Can you just be happy? Can you stop walking through life with your hands up ready to fight the reflection of you, the opposite sex reflection of you? I don't walk through life looking at black women as though they're my enemy. And I would hope that for the black women who this applies, you stop walking through life assuming that black men are somebody to challenge, is somebody to overcome, to struggle against. We don't need that.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels TV. Rest in heaven to Kevin Samuels. I really do appreciate what he did. And you know, people have been getting tattoos of Kevin Samuels. And you know what that shows? Whether you agree with getting a tattoo or not, that's not the main gist of this. It's to show that these people had to get a tattoo on them of a man that they saw on the internet. If you had a dad, you probably wouldn't be inclined to do that, because your dad would be the first male to really you wouldn't feel right putting the tattoo of a man that you saw on the internet or you watched on the internet on yourself before your father. It just proves the point even more how many men are fatherless. And it proves the point even more why we really do need communities and need men and women to stay together, but also do better to stay together. Love y'all. God bless. ARD out.